the Steve Sarowitz recording, he kind of pins Scarlett Johansson and Blake Lively against each other. Well, not really pins them against each other, but he mentions how nice Scarlett Johansson is, and then about a second later mentions Blake Lively being like, she's totally different from everyone. I'm not trying to be mean, which she could have been. And then he's like, but most people see that we're nice, and they're nice back even if they aren't nice. And he goes on this thing about being nice, and it's all about nice. And it's clear that Blake is different, and he's just said that Scarlett Johansson is nice like 1 second earlier. So it's towards the end. This is up on docketupdates.com if you're looking for it. Sorry, I know I'm kind of late to the game here today, but it took me a while to get through it just with work. So it is 38 minutes. I did listen to it. Let me go over some more of my thoughts outside of just this nice comment. From a time frame wise, it sounds like the trailer for Claire's movie was in theaters, so this is probably, that movie came out end of September, so, sometime over the summer, maybe August of 2024. And it ends up with us had already been out and was already making money because that's referenced in here. So that's kind of a good frame of reference. Claire starts out and is very complimentary towards the Wayfarer team, and she says to Steve, like, you have a great team, like, they were so wonderful to work with, which is interesting because it's like, well, what was your complaint about Justin? She does talk a lot, okay? And I can't tell if that's like a nervous tick or what's that about? She kind of bounces all over the place. I'm also like, okay, girl, you're recording. So obviously she knows that and is putting on her form of a show. It kind of sounds like it was probably a Teams or Zoom, so I would have loved to see Steve's actual mannerisms, because there were 1 or 2 points where I think he might have nodded and then she responds to it. There's a lot of chat about female-centered films. He seems totally on board, likes it, thinks that a lot of them can succeed, very pro-female. When they talk about the It Ends With Us drama, there's a lot of mentions of Jamie Heath being he's been the go-between between Sony. I think there was a mention of people slamming their faith. I think it might have been Sony slamming the faith, but that it's a little unclear. There's a mention of Blake and Ryan being Steve Sarowitz is I don't think they're billionaires, which is kind of funny. I'm like, okay, what does he know? There's a lot of mentions of who we think is Molly, the PR expert, Molly on TikTok. Claire talks about going to Wellesley and how she's got a big gang behind her because of that, and they're so supportive, and she's able to get a lot of people to come out. She kind of goes on and on and on. She talks about loving having worked with Rainn Wilson, saying he was, treated everyone as an equal, and he was so nice, and he made the set amazing. And that's when Steve goes into the Justin comments, and he's like, yeah, Justin is just like Rainn. He's so wonderful to work with. And he's like, even though the It Ends With Us set didn't go as planned, Justin is always kind, and it's none of it was Justin's fault is what Steve is insinuating. But when he keeps making this mention that Justin is just like Rainn, it kind of almost seems like maybe Claire doesn't really know Justin. I don't know why. That was just the interpretation that